Hi, I'm Dr. Elliot Adam from ElliotOracle.com, and it is time for this month's Tarotscope for November 2025. So I'm going to pick 3 cards for each astrological sign, beginning with Aries and ending with Pisces. And if you want an even more accurate reading, you might also want to listen to the message for your astrological moon sign and rising sign as well. And all those videos are going to just be linked below with some quick timestamps to quickly go to the relevant information for you. And remember, if you like my style of reading, you can always schedule a one-on-one tarot session with me at ElliotOracle.com. So without further ado, let's see what's in store for you this November. So first, let's go into the astrological sign of Aries. So if you're an Aries or have a lot of Aries in your chart, this first card is going to be where it's best for you to place your focus for November. And we get the Fool card, who is the quintessential card of new beginnings. The Fool is asking you, Aries, to jump into the unknown at this time. This could be an exciting time where you're shifting the trajectory of your life and completely going on a different path. But this card can also indicate a period where you have to risk looking like a fool or stepping into something that you don't know 100% and learn as you go along. The Fool has wonderful luck, though. He's blessed by the white sun that's glowing down at him. And what that can really indicate for you is that even though this might feel like a time where you're taking a huge risk, or there might be something really heavy before you this next month, it does feel like you're going to land on your feet. But you do have to take the chance. You do have to leave the familiar behind. The Fool is also the traveler of the tarot. So this is a wonderful card for future travel plans or thinking about where you want to go next and really kind of getting down to the details of, okay, here's what I want to do. Here's where I want to go. But the Fool is also just a card of having fun, not taking life too seriously, and also practicing the art of non-attachment, not being too fixated on a specific outcome, but instead being open to what life has to throw at you. The advice from your inner wisdom, Aries, for this next month is the Ace of Pentacles, another fantastic card here. Both of these cards are associated with new beginnings. But in the case of the Ace of Pentacles, if you look this up online or in a tarot book, a lot of times it has to do with a new job, some sort of financial prosperity. It can also indicate that there is something new that you want to step toward that could lead toward wealth, abundance, or financial security. And on the Ace of Pentacles, we can see the garden with the doorway opening. And when we look through that doorway, down the path, we can see a mountain. And that mountain can indicate that there is a challenge. There's an obstacle before you. But like the Fool, you want to climb the mountain. You want to get to the top. And you want to be in that advantageous position of the high ground. Because the mountain can also symbolize visibility, fame, attention. So I don't know what it is that you're thinking of doing, Aries, but this is a wonderful month for launching into your heart's desire, especially if it has to do with manifesting something in the real world or something that has to do with your finances, your money, your career, your long-term security. It just looks like your head is in the right place at this time. And always with these 2 cards, there is an element of risk involved. So you may feel like you're kind of having to take the plunge, do the Hail Mary, and take that leap of faith. But I do feel like this is an important month for you to create new conditions. And finally, for Aries, we're just going to go into a final card of potential pitfalls that you might want to avoid or opportunities that you want to take full advantage of. And this one flipped over, and we get the Queen of Wands. So very fortuitous month for Aries for November. I don't know one tarot reader who doesn't love the Queen of Wands. She just radiates charisma. She's got this magnetic personality that when she steps out, she can indicate that heads turn and that she's not afraid of owning who she really is. She also has her magical quality, that black cat, on full display for all the world to see. And Queen of Wands is a wonderful archetype for Aries because on the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, the Queen of Wands is associated with fire, the element of fire, which is all Aries is associated with as well. So I feel like this is a really important month, Aries, to assert yourself. There's definitely an opportunity before you. The Queen of Wands can also indicate helpful women who might be warm-hearted or open to you. Or you might want to look at who your heroes are and model your energy after that. It might be important for you to sort of look at who do I admire and why and how do they carry themselves. I need to carry myself a little bit more in that energy. The Queen of Wands has been called the actress of the tarot. She's based on Pamela Coleman Smith's dear friend Ellen Terry. She was an actress in the early part of the 20th century. So this could be a time when you're also exhibiting the qualities of the actor and really kind of almost like faking it until you make it, really kind of stepping into that energy that you're wanting to project and then making that real around you. Either way, this is just a lovely set of cards for Aries. So Aries, enjoy this month of November. Next, we're going to go into the astrological sign of Taurus. So if you're a Taurus or have a lot of Taurus in your chart, this first card is going to be where it's best for you to place your focus for November. And we get the Six of Swords, which is a card that shows these refugees. They're in the boat. They're leaving the rough waters behind them, and they're sailing toward the smooth waters. And the Six of Swords is long associated with journeys, sometimes actual literal journeys like going from one place to another, but also sometimes a metaphorical journey where your spirit is evolving. With the Six of Swords, this is a benevolent change card. There's lots of change cards in the tarot. Some of them can feel a bit traumatic or even a bit jarring. But the Six of Swords is saying that your changes are going to go beautifully this next month, Taurus, if you can surrender to them. It's as if there's this current flowing through your life. There's this river that you just need to surrender to. You just need to let go. It could also indicate that it's time for you to leave behind that which isn't serving you anymore and sail toward the safer harbor. Six of Swords is also associated with moving. So if there's any plans about a future move, future travel, this is a really great card that says that this is a fortuitous time for you to make those plans. But the Six of Swords, more importantly, can really just indicate surrender, can really just indicate that there's a change before you. You're ready to evolve. And you just need to give yourself over to that current and allow that current to take you to where you want to go. Six of Swords is never a card of forcing things to happen. And if you're starting to feel like the energy creep into your shoulders and you're getting tense about something, Six of Swords is telling you to take a deep breath, drop your shoulders, unclench your jaw, and allow things to come to you. That's going to be the best way forward. The advice from your inner wisdom, if you're a Taurus, for November, is the Five of Cups. And the Five of Cups also shows a river here. And it's kind of an interesting symbol in this card. We see this figure who's looking at 3 spilled cups, and he's disappointed. He's saying, isn't that sad? The wine is spilt. There's no chance of me getting that back in there. This card can represent a disappointment or a loss. Could also indicate that you're coming to this river in your own life, this metaphorical river, Taurus, where you feel like you've endured your own losses. Maybe something has made you sad. And yet the Five of Cups can be a bit of a dangerous card because it entrances you with only focusing on the negative, only looking at the 3 spilled cups, and neglecting the 2 cups that are behind you. If the figure on this card were to see the 2 cups behind him, he'd also notice that bridge that's crossing the troubled waters, crossing the river. So again, we're seeing this symbol of crossing the river for you. And yet the way to see the way across the river for you, Taurus, is to look at what's going well, to build on that, and to allow yourself to grow with that thing. That's going to help you notice the way past the river. The river can represent an obstacle, a challenge, but it's also something that can be solved or crossed. And yet you will not find the way across the river if you're only looking at the losses, or if you're only transfixed with what you don't have, or what you're disappointed by, or whatever's haunting you from the past. And, believe me, I get it. Sometimes we have to feel those difficult feelings. Sometimes life isn't all happy and joy and wonderful. And we do need to take stock of what's actually happened, absorb those feelings. But the danger with the Five of Cups is getting stuck in that mindset. And so it's so important that you're tearing yourself away from that transfixed energy of only looking at the spilled cups. I feel like there is an important boundary, threshold, or emotional impasse it's important for you to cross at this time, and it's symbolized by that river, Taurus. Finally, for the third card for Taurus, we're going to go into potential pitfalls that you're going to want to avoid this next month, but also opportunities that can help you. And we got an opportunity card with the Ace of Swords. The Ace of Swords is a card of decisiveness. It's a card of taking charge. It's a card of not making excuses or getting in your feelings too much. It's a card of using that element of air, that logical quality, deciding what must be done, thinking clearly, and then executing a plan. The Ace of Swords is a card of grasping your power. We can see the hand coming out of the cloud, and it's charged with this electric energy, and the sword is crowned. And the crown has two branches dangling from it. One is the olive branch, and one is the palm branch. The palm branch is there to remind you that you are hardy, that you can withstand many a storm, because palm trees can withstand hurricanes. And so this is a card that can indicate, remember who you are, how strong you are. And yes, you've experienced losses. We all have. But that doesn't mean that you're not powerful and that you can't shift the energy in your life if you choose to do so. The other branch is the olive branch, which is the symbol of peace. And what the Ace of Swords says is it's by making a decision or confronting the thing before you that's actually going to bring peace in your life. It's actually going to make you feel like you're relieving yourself of something that has been burdensome or difficult. So I feel like this is a month to get action, to take action on whatever it is that you're deciding to do. And it's also a time for you to decisively choose to cross that river and to no longer be blocked by whatever emotional energies happened before. The Ace of Swords is saying that the power is in your hands. Next, we're going to go into the astrological sign of Gemini. So if you're a Gemini or have a lot of Gemini in your chart, this first card is going to be where it's best for you to place your focus for November. And we get the Nine of Wands. And the Nine of Wands is saying that what you're needing to focus on is your resiliency. We see this figure. He's got a bandage on his head. He's been bumped and bruised by life, and it hasn't been easy for him. And yet he's kind of scrappy. He's getting back up. He's someone who's been able to withstand the heat. And this card is saying that just like this figure on the card, Gemini, you're a survivor too. You've withstood your own trials by fire up until now. And yet you are stronger for it. The Nine of Wands also shows that the figure has taken 8 of the wands he's gathered and built a fence with them. He's built a boundary, a protective barrier between him and whatever might have hurt him from the past. So a lot of times the Nine of Wands can indicate, Gemini, that it is important for you this month to consciously think about what might have been harming you or what might have been difficult, and to really consciously create a boundary from that person or that situation. It's important that you're not going back to the source of whatever the wound was that caused the head injury on this card. And, even the injured head, with tarot and the symbolism, these can be, thought forms or mental processes that now you've outgrown. You might have also had damaging thoughts in the past. Maybe you're needing to create new patterns and create some boundaries around automatically thinking the way you always did before, and instead shifting your perspective towards something new. But wands in the tarot, they're tree branches. They got little leaves springing out of the top of them, and they indicate growth. And the Nine of Wands especially will indicate growth that has happened in your life through conflict, confrontation. And without that conflict, there is no growth. So it is important for us to leave our comfort zone, to do the uncomfortable thing, to really discover how powerful we actually are. The next card we're going to go into for Gemini is advice from your inner wisdom. And the card we get here is the High Priestess herself. And the High Priestess can be coming up for you, Gemini, to indicate that your intuition, your instincts are going to be so important to listen to at this time. The High Priestess can also indicate that this is a time for you to trust that inner wisdom, that little quiet voice within you that's going to guide you through. The High Priestess is the great initiator of the tarot. She stands at the threshold. And both of these cards are kind of associated in their own way with an initiation. It's indicating that you're crossing an important threshold. You aren't who you were before. And through hardship and trials and difficulties, you've come out the other side. The high priestess herself had to go through her own harrowing journey in order to ascend to her throne. And so, too, for you, there is the sense that everything that you've gone through, everything that's led to this moment, it has enriched your inner experience. There's great wisdom with the high priestess. Not only wisdom that you're going to want to follow for yourself by listening to that inner quiet voice, but also wisdom that you could extol upon other people. This is going to be an important time for you to share what you know. And you might even find, Gemini, that other people are going to recognize maybe the wounds in you, the things that you've endured, and they may be actually seeking you out for healing, advice, support, guidance in some way. The high priestess holds all the answers. The high priestess also does represent that very quiet inner voice within us that can be sometimes so difficult to hear if we're still engaged in conflict. And so I almost feel like you're needing to get quiet before you enter the temple this next month, that you're needing to find your center and get to that place of inner peace, inner knowing before you step into the next arena. High Priestess will always be your guide. Whenever you feel lost in the dark, she's an infallible compass that will always guide you out of the darkness and back toward the light. But you must listen to your instincts and your intuition. And finally, the High Priestess is just an excellent card to get when it's time for a reading. So maybe giving yourself a reading or journaling or getting a reading, that's going to be such an important message with the High Priestess too, because the unconscious is trying to tell you something very important right now. And it's going to guide you through the way that's going to lead you away from something that might have been painful or difficult from the past with that Nine of Wands. And then finally, for Gemini, there is going to be potential pitfalls that you're going to want to avoid or opportunities ahead on your path. And we get an opportunity card with the Hierophant card. And the Hierophant in ancient Greek, Hierophantes, it's the one who reveals or shows the sacred things, the sacred way. And so the Hierophant is a holy person, very similar to the High Priestess as well. We got these two divine messengers of the major arcana from the realm of the sacred for you this next month, Gemini. I feel like you're about to undergo a spiritual quest. It might also be a time where you're leaving behind something painful, but you're opening yourself up to deeper spiritual dimensions or help in order to overcome your obstacles. The Hierophant is also an archetype of faith, and you need to have faith in yourself, but also in spirit at this time. And whether you've been acknowledging or not, spirit is there with you, waiting for you to ask for whatever it is that you need. And so this is a wonderful archetype card for prayer work or spell work or setting your intentions for what you want to create next. But I feel with the High Priestess and the Hierophant, they are telling you this is a month to be very intentional. What do you want your life to look like? What does your pathway feel like it must be in order to feel like you're the fullest expression of who you really are? These are two really spiritual archetypes that are guiding you back to source energy within yourself. And it just feels like this is a wonderful time to commune with your spirit. So whatever your faith is or your belief system is, these cards, these archetypes can really say that that's what you're going to want to lean on this next month. Because there is so much more to reality beyond just the physical expression of the physical world that you're seeing before you. There are other dimensions and planes and areas of existence that we only have just an inkling of. And yet it's patiently waiting there to support you in this next important journey. Next, we're going to go into the astrological sign of Cancer. So if you're a Cancer or have a lot of Cancer in your chart, this first card is going to be where it's best for you to place your focus for November. And we get the Ten of Swords reversed. And I know a lot of you are going to go, oh no, Ten of Swords, But when this card comes up reversed, it can be a very healing moment. The ending that you've experienced has already happened. The trauma's already water under the bridge. And with the Ten of Swords reversed, you have to pay attention to the black clouds that are breaking up with the sunlight starting to return. The Ten of Swords reversed is saying that the ending's happened and a new day is dawning. And every ending, every difficult challenge, everything that we undergo in our lives is always followed by a new beginning. I feel like it's time for you, Cancer, to turn away from the sadness of the past and to look at what is bringing light into your life at this moment. There's an opportunity here with this card, but you must let the past be the past. This is a card of coming full circle, but also accepting certain endings. And I just feel like the word evolution is coming up in my spirit when I'm looking at this image for you. I feel like you're evolving through something. And sometimes the things that help us evolve or change or grow aren't easy. And yet, this is a card that's saying that you're ready for this next important step. You're also ready to turn toward the light. And this is also a card of turning toward the sacred to find the answer to the challenge that's before you. We can see this figure who's laying face down, whose hand is fashioned in the symbol of a mudra, a holy symbol, a symbol of blessing. And we see that symbol on the Hierophant card in the tarot as well. And what that indicates is there's a sacred component to everything you've gone through, even the losses, even the challenges. There is angelic help or guidance and support that's going to support you through this transition. The advice from your inner wisdom, if you're a Cancer, for the next month is the Knight of Swords. And the Knight of Swords is racing ahead on his horse. He's dashing toward his goal. And he's thrashing his horse and he's yelling, go, go, go. And that poor horse is looking up at him like, I can't go any faster. You are being too merciless with me. This is unrelenting, the pace that I'm keeping up with. The knight can symbolize your mind, your thoughts, and the horse can sometimes symbolize your physical body. And what this card is saying is, Cancer, you need to be kinder to yourself this next month. There's a lot on your mind, obviously. 2 swords cards coming out right out of the gate. That is the mental realm. It's saying that your mind is just kind of going a million miles a minute. There's all these thoughts going on. And you might feel like you have to stay ahead of them. You have to just outrun the trauma, outrun the difficult challenge of the past, and stay in this place where you're off toward the next thing, the thing that's going to be the medicine that you're needing. And yet, I feel like that is causing some harm to you. You're needing to calm down right now. You might need to accept with quiet resignation what's happened, but then also accept that the light needs to return right now. You might need to be kinder to yourself and seek support. But also, most importantly of all, do not make rash decisions this next month with these 2 cards. This is not the time to be impulsive. It's also not the time to, freak out and just make a complete knee-jerk reaction decision toward something that feels unexpected or difficult. You really want to calm yourself and pause, especially if you're starting to feel that energy is escalating. It's starting to get into your shoulders or into your chest. It's getting into your head. It's making you feel like you have to gear up for battle. That is a sign from your body that you are engaged in an energy that is not going to help you. And so you need to consciously take a deep breath and let that energy lower. You need to almost kind of think of a thin, invisible line here at your chest level and just kind of keep the energy just about here, just below it, not getting up here. I just feel like this is an important month for you as well, Cancer, for self-care, seeking support. And maybe you need someone to listen to you at this time. Maybe what's going on is going on in your head alone, and it's sort of like running in circles, and what you're needing to do is shed some sunlight on it. But I do feel like you do need to get some support this next month. Finally, the last card is going to be potential pitfalls you're going to want to avoid or opportunities for you, Cancer, moving forward. And we get an opportunity card. And your opportunity card is the Hermit. He is the exact opposite of the energy of the Knight of Swords. Whereas the Knight of Swords is this youth who's rushing ahead and impulsive and aggressive, the Hermit is wise, calm. He's moving slowly and he's absolutely mature. He's got that long beard of authority. And the Hermit is telling you to slow down. The opportunities are going to come to you this next month, Cancer, when you're quiet, when you're calm, because a calm mind is a powerful mind. And I feel like there is deep healing that's going on internally for you. This might also be a card that can say, maybe it's time to retreat from a situation that feels overly stressful, that you're not absolutely going to get what you want by hammering away at it or trying to mangle it into submission. But instead, there's this quiet resignation with the Hermit where he withdraws, he retreats, he turns inward for the answer. But I feel like the opportunity for you is also to look a little deeper at what's happening It's so easy to superficially look at a problem before you and think it's something that's a test for you, and why is it happening to me, and this is really stressful. And yet the Hermit is saying there's another dimension to this. And if you're able to see things on a deeper level and consult your own spirit when confronting this issue, the way forward is going to be absolutely clear. It may feel like you're going through the dark right now, Cancer, but the Hermit holds the lantern, which shows the next appropriate step for him to take. And so too for you, do not be concerned with the whole journey right now or racing to the finish line, but just take the step in front of you that you know is before you. And then the lantern will reveal the next step, and so on and so forth. And it'll lead you out of the darkness. The Hermit is just telling you to consider your next steps very carefully. Next, we're going to go into the astrological sign of Leo. So if you're a Leo or have a lot of Leo in your chart, this first card is going to be where it's best for you to place your focus for November. And we get the Knight of Pentacles, who's been called the young man of unfulfilled expectations. The Knight of Pentacles is a frustrated figure because of all the knights in the tarot. He's on that horse that isn't moving forward at this time. He wants these fields to grow behind him, but just now they're brown. There isn't any sign of growth. And he can represent entering into a season of the winter or the autumn where things are starting to kind of recoil or not be as vibrant, not grow as much. And so too for you, Leo, it might feel like you've planted a lot of seeds, and yet you're looking around at your fields right now and you're saying, is this all that I have to show for all my effort and all my work? And yet, if you look closely at the Knight of Pentacles, his helmet is decorated with oak leaves. And oak is the tree of wisdom. The Knight of Pentacles can teach us that sometimes there's wisdom that's presented in the seasons of fall and winter. And yes, it's not as exciting as spring and summer when everything's vibrant and alive. And yet there's something important to learn now. This is also a card that's associated usually with the astrological sign of Virgo, which has all to do with the details. And so this isn't a time to rush forward or move forward very quickly. It isn't the season for it yet. Instead, there's wisdom in analyzing the details at this time. I see that there's something really important to concentrate on this next month, Leo. There's something that's before you that's going to take a lot of mental focus. But I also feel like there is a reward eventually. Eventually, the Knight of Pentacles does become a king. He does become successful. Those fields will grow. But like all Pentacles cards that do promise success eventually, they also can be incredibly slow growing. That element of earth can feel like a snail crawling by. And so this card can sometimes indicate managing your expectations about how fast something's supposed to happen, or how fast you even feel you should have it all figured out. The advice from your inner wisdom, if you're a Leo for this next month, is the Seven of Swords. And the Seven of Swords, a lot of people get uncomfortable by because it shows a thief. And a lot of readers look at him and they're like, watch your wallet. There's a thief on this card. And yet, all these years I've been reading tarot, it's like 0.01% of the times that this card has come up that actually has to do with a theft. And so, I feel like this card is more saying that, Leo, you're needing to be strategic. Yes, there is a thief on this card, but look at what he's doing. There's an army that's invaded his homeland. There's tents set up, and they're thinking of how they're going to divvy up this man's homeland. And this man cannot fight a whole army by himself. His only recourse is to outwit his obstacles, to think smarter and not work harder. And so the Seven of Swords is a card of sometimes confronting overwhelming odds and yet outwitting the obstacle. And I couple that Seven of Swords imagery with the Knight of Pentacles. And this is saying that there's some sort of a problem to solve, Leo. There's something you're puzzling through. And a solution is going to be arrived at, but you have to be clever. You have to use your intellect. You have to use your mind at this time. You can't just use your charm. So I do feel like there is a puzzle to solve. And yet you can outwit this obstacle by stealing the swords of the soldiers. This figure has single-handedly defeated the whole army without ever having to fight. And so too for you, Leo, I feel like there is something that needs to be thought through, puzzled through this next month. And then the final card for Leo is going to be potential pitfalls, but also opportunities before you on your path this next month. And we get the Six of Cups, which can be an opportunity card in two ways. Number one, the Six of Cups is a card of the past. And so sometimes this card comes up to say that the opportunities are going to arise for you when you finish the cycle of the past, when you come full circle, when you bring closure to something that happened before, instead of trying to create something new at this time. There is this sense of introspection and thoughtfulness from all three of these cards, Leo. And yet, the other opportunity of the Six of Cups is that the past may hold clues for you as to what your purpose is, where your joy is, what you have found in the past to be the most powerful version of yourself. Sometimes the Six of Cups is a card of remembering who you are. And you even think of the word remembering, it's remembering or putting together again something that has been dismembered in some way. And so I kind of feel like this is a time for you, Leo, to take stock of your path, how far you've come. But it might also be a time for you to go back on the path and collect a part of yourself that you might have forgotten is a part of you. This could be a more powerful version of yourself that you feel out of touch with. You're still that person. And yet you're just wiser. You've learned more. You've grown more. I feel like this is a month of problem solving for Leo, but I also feel like the past holds some answers as to how to solve the problem ahead. Next, we're going to go into the astrological sign of Virgo. So if you're a Virgo or have a lot of Virgo in your chart, this first card is going to be where it's best for you to place your focus for November. And we get the Queen of Cups. And the Queen of Cups is the archetype of feelings, emotions. In fact, she holds the most elaborately decorated chalice in the tarot. It's decorated with angels. And what this symbolizes for the Queen of Cups is that feelings are sacred this next month. Virgo, this is not a mercurial month where you're just going to be in your head or you're going to be problem solving that way. Instead, the answer is going to be found in your heart. This is also a month to pay attention to how you're feeling, both in your physical body, but also in your emotional space, because that is going to give you really great clues as to whether the pathway that you're engaged with is the right one or not. The Queen of Cups can also indicate that it's time to open your heart or allow yourself to feel. And sometimes if we've been hurt or gone through a challenge in the past, it can be really difficult for us to open up and be vulnerable again. And yet the Queen of Cups is guiding you toward that. I feel like there's something really deep, emotionally speaking, happening for Virgo this next month with the Queen of Cups. The next card is going to be advice from your inner wisdom if you're a Virgo for this next month. And we get the Eight of Wands, which is a card of movement. It's saying that what is happening, the momentum you're experiencing right now, isn't really about you. It's not about your feelings about it. It's just what is. It's just where the current is going. Of all the cards in the tarot, the Eight of Wands is the only card in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck that doesn't show a person or even the part of a person on it symbolically. It just shows 8 sticks flying through the air. It indicates a lot of rushing information coming your way, but it also can indicate momentum and movement. This is the challenge for you the next month, Virgo, because on the one hand, the Queen of Cups is telling you to trust your body, trust your feelings, trust your instincts about what's going on. But on the other hand, the Eight of Wands is telling you not to personalize what's happening, not to look at the external world or how other people are behaving or what opportunities you're seeing are available, and then taking it personally like, oh, I guess that's an expression of me, or I guess it's all against me. I guess they're all conspiring against me. It has nothing to do with you at all. And yet I also feel with the Queen of Cups, she can be a really wonderful support or guide for you to help you feel where the current is flowing. Where is that fresh breeze blowing in your life? And she can really help you get some wind in your sails toward the thing that's going to bring emotional fulfillment. I just kind of feel like this balancing act between trusting your feelings and opening yourself up personally, but then also knowing when to have a nuanced perspective where it's not all or nothing. It's not, I'm going to be completely feeling all the time, or I'm going to be completely detached all the time. It's almost as if both things are needed. And there's a time and a place for both medicines to be utilized this next month. And then finally, the last card is going to be potential pitfalls or opportunities for you, Virgo, for this next month. And we got a pitfall card with the Five of Swords. Five of Swords is telling you not to take on more than you can handle. Sometimes this is a card of feeling overwhelmed or overburdened. And it's also a card of sometimes focusing on the negative emotions. Because we can see these two figures, the squires in the background, they're looking at that element of water, but they're defeated. They wanted to pick up these 5 heavy swords and they couldn't do it. They lost. And so they're feeling like they failed. And they're just stuck in the sea of their emotions. And yet you have that figure in the foreground who's flanked by that element of air. There's a breeze blowing through him. And yet there's an action he's taking where he's only choosing some of the swords to carry right now. And he's leaving the rest for later. I feel like the opportunity in the 5 of Swords card is that if you take what you can handle, if you simplify your life and really focus on the priority, number 1, and maybe priority number 2, you're going to get through this next month unscathed. And yet, if you kind of like take personally all the things that you have to do or feel overwhelmed by the energy that's going on around you, and you're letting your emotions kind of get the better of you here, that might not be useful. I feel like the Queen of Cups is saying use your feelings to nurture yourself when you're not engaged in the project, when you're not at work. And yet, when you're at work, the Queen of Cups needs to be kind of put on the back burner, and you're really needing to just dispassionately systematize what needs your focus right now and not take on more than you can handle, not get overburdened by emotions that might feel toxic or burdensome in some way. Next, we're going to go into the astrological sign of Libra. So if you're a Libra or have a lot of Libra in your chart, this first card is going to show where it's best for you to place your focus for November 2025. And we get the King of Wands, who is the survivor of the tarot, the wise counselor. For me, the King of Wands is the self-made king. He grows from nothing and builds himself up over time by surviving all the trials by fire that life has sent his way. In fact, he's accompanied by that little lizard on the card, which can take the heat. And this could be a month for you, Libra, where you're really moderating your response to what's happening to you. You don't want your energy to get too hot, and you don't want it to get too cold. You want to be kind of in that sweet spot in between. The King of Wands can also indicate wise counsel. Not only could you be receiving wise counsel this next month that you're going to want to listen to, it could help you past a difficulty or a challenge. But also the King of Wands can indicate that you are stepping into the role as the wise counselor. You may have the answers for other people, and you do need to speak up. This is also a card of leadership, leadership over your own life, but also being an example for others. The King of Wands is telling you that wisdom is going to win the day, but it's also a card that's telling you that you need to take your throne. You need to take your power back at this time, and you need to remember your full journey and honor that inner lizard that's really helped you take the heat up into this point. The advice from your inner wisdom for this next month, if you are a Libra, is the 4 of Wands. And the 4 of Wands shows a party happening on the card. People are celebrating, they're enjoying themselves. The 4 of Wands, the wisdom of it is simply to have fun. There is a movie called Anti-Mame with Rosalind Russell, and the actress in it says, life is a banquet, and most poor suckers are starving to death. And the 4 of Wands is really asking you to enjoy the banquet of your life. It is going to open up to you fully this next month. Also, we see 2 Wands cards here. There is this sense that you've been initiated. You've been going through a growing period. And what you're needing to do is fully embrace that. You are grown into a new version of yourself. The 4 of Wands can also indicate socializing, friendships, enjoying yourself. And it's also just a card of celebrating how far you've come. There's an important rite of passage for you, Libra. Both of these cards are kind of marking that. And I feel like it's important for you to celebrate what you've really stepped into. These are marvelous cards that are showing how far you've grown. And the last several months might not have been easy. And yet these cards are saying that you've really survived these trials by fire. I also just feel like doing things that feel good are going to be important, and networking with those people who elevate the energy for you, that feel positive, where you're just like, I don't know who that person was, but I just feel great around their energy, or I love that environment, or I love how this place makes me feel. That is the energy of the 4 of Wands that you're going to fully want to embrace. And then the final card is potential pitfalls, but also opportunities for this next month of November for you, Libra. And we get a pitfall to avoid with the Nine of Swords. The Nine of Swords has been called the worst card of the deck. And it's not the worst card of the deck because it's saying the worst things are about to happen to you. It's called the worst card of the deck because it can represent getting in your head too much. It can indicate that the pitfall ahead for you is thinking negatively or looking at your setbacks or your challenges in isolation to a point where you're ruminating over them. Nine of Swords is also a card of fear, though. And sometimes fear makes us do stupid things. It talks us out of our best opportunities. It tells us all the reasons why we can't do something. And the Nine of Swords can be associated with your own shadow, your own inner saboteur, which for whatever reason, it can't stand that you're going to have a good time. It can't stand that you're about to make a huge important breakthrough. And so it's kind of turning on itself. And yet for the Nine of Swords, the best antidote for this card is sunlight. It's to come out of isolation. It's to open your heart and share your fears with other people. And it's also an important time for you to share the whole journey with others. The Nine of Swords can also indicate that you don't want to let fear be behind the driver's driving wheel this next month. You don't want your fear to be driving you through your best opportunities. So for example, if you're like, I'd really love to do this, but what if this happens? And what if that happens? That's your fear driving the bus. And you're needing to kick that fear out of the driver's seat and take it yourself. I feel like this is an important month for you to have huge breakthroughs and also enjoy your life and not talk yourself out of it through the pitfall of negative thinking, just because something might have happened in the past or because you're working through some old traumas. Nine of Swords is telling you it's time to open up your fears with others so that you can see that they are just that, only fear. Next, we're going to go into the astrological sign of Scorpio. So Scorpio, this is going to be your message for November, and happy birthday to all the November Scorpios. So the card for where it's best for you to place your focus is the Three of Cups. And the Three of Cups shows the three charities, the three goddesses from Greek mythology, from which we get our words charm, charisma, and character from. The charities can be coming up for you this next month, Scorpio, to indicate that your personal charisma, your personal energy can really elevate the mood of those around you. But it's also a card that says that this is your month to shine. The Three of Cups is also a card of enjoyment, celebration, lightening up a little bit. And it's also a card sometimes of female connections that could be really significant for you this next month. Either way, Scorpio, I just kind of feel like there's some good news coming. The Three of Cups is long associated with joy. And it also will say that it's important for you to follow your joy, follow your bliss towards your happiest moments. And then finally, Three of Cups can indicate that your character is needed this next month. You might need to be an example through your character for others. This is going to really help impact the environment that you're in. The advice from your inner wisdom, if you're a Scorpio for the month of November, is the Two of Wands, which shows a successful lord of a manor. He's got a castle with a view and obviously quite a bit of land. And yet he's not satisfied with his acquisitions. He's holding the globe in his hand. He wants the world. The Two of Wands is often associated with ambition, growth, something important that you're reaching for. And I feel like this is a wonderful card for long-term planning. I also feel, just intuitively looking at this card, Scorpio, that this could be an important month where you're setting a trajectory for yourself for the next 2 years. And this might be a pathway that you're sort of plotting your way through to get toward a goal, to get to some place of success that you've really been hoping for. But this is a card that can say that you're ready to grow. You're ready to go toward this next important thing. The only thing is, I feel like you need to have fun on the journey. That Three of Cups is really saying, if it isn't fun, if it isn't leading toward your bliss or your joy, why are you focusing on that? So I do feel like this is an important card for you to assess what's going to make me happy and what's the best pathway to take to get to that happiness. And finally, the third card is going to be potential pitfalls, but also opportunities for the month of November. And we got an opportunity card with the Ace of Wands. The Ace of Wands is a card of new inspiration. It's one of those like bolt from the blue cards where suddenly you get inspired to do this exciting new thing and you want to act on it with some urgency. Because this is a magic wand, and just like all the magic wands in the fairy tale, there is a time limit with the spell that's being cast. Just like Cinderella had only till midnight to make it all happen before her carriage reverted to a pumpkin, so too for you with the Ace of Wands, Scorpio. There is this inspiration, this drive to grow that you need to get the ball rolling on. And then that Ace of Wands following the Two of Wands can indicate that it's time to abandon the tower that you've been at the top of, the old ruined tower, even, that you're not going to find the answers with anymore. There's this old tower in the background of the Ace of Wands that's been abandoned. And so I kind of feel like the comfort zone, the tower, the thing that you might have been building up into this point, this might be a time where you're strategizing, how do I exit the tower? How do I lead myself towards something that doesn't feel quite so stifling? How do I get into the wider world? But I feel like this is a wonderful card as well for inspired thought or just ideas, light bulb moments, aha moments that just kind of hit you like a bolt from the blue that are going to give you the solution that you're really looking for. Ace of Wands also feels like a really marvelous card to start setting your intentions for what you want to magically create in your own life as we're going into this next year. But I feel like new beginnings are definitely at hand. Next, we're going to go into the astrological sign of Sagittarius. So if you're a Sag or have a lot of Sagittarius in your chart, this first card is going to be where it's best for you to place your focus for November. And we get the Chariot card, which is a card of action, movement, and it's also a card of courage. The charioteer is leaving the walled city behind him, and he's going out into the world. And there's these two sphinxes, which are the creatures of mystery from ancient Egypt, that are guiding his path, and he's trusting the mystery. He's trusting where they're leading. The chariot can indicate that you're leaving the comfort zone, the parameters of the walled city that you might have felt confined to up until this point. And now the wider world is awaiting you. This is a card that says that you will be victorious every time you choose your courage over your fears. And so I do feel like this is a time to get action. But also the chariot can indicate getting out in front of something. Instead of reacting to life or kicking the can down the road or just kind of hoping it'll all work out or thinking you have plenty of time to do that, the chariot card can indicate that you need to get moving on this now, that this is going to be an important thing to have a sense of urgency with. And yet this is always a card of victory. I feel like the efforts that you make right now towards your best future are absolutely going to produce wonderful results. And so this victory is definitely assured. The advice from your inner wisdom, if you're a Sagittarius for this next month, is the King of Cups. And he is the archetype of emotional maturity. You know, the King of Cups is seated on a stone throne amidst the crashing waves, and water in the tarot represents our feelings and our emotions. And yet the King of Cups is stable amidst the crashing waves. And so there is this sense that you're needing to stay anchored, stay centered, and also retain your emotional maturity with whatever might be swirling around you. Also, the King of Cups is a card of kindness, and he can indicate that kindness is needed from you at this time. This could be a time when you're offering support to family or to loved ones or to people who rely on you to be their anchor sometimes. And then finally, the King of Cups holds that lotus scepter, which is, lotus is the flower of enlightenment. And so this could be a time when you're getting enlightened on something, or where you're reaching for a higher consciousness to deal with the problem that's before you. Either way, I feel like there is some sort of maturing process going on for this King of Cups. And I do feel for you, Sagittarius, that this is a time to let the mature adult within you handle what's before you. And then the final card is going to be potential pitfalls, but also opportunities on your path, if you're a Sag. And we get an opportunity card, kinda, with the Eight of Cups. You know, the Eight of Cups is a card of soul searching. And yet sometimes it can be associated with a little bit of melancholy, feeling lost, not knowing your way. But those moments in life are so important because they ask us to seek deeper answers. The superficial external world just doesn't cut it with the Eight of Cups. In fact, there's an eclipse happening on the card where the moon, the inner life, is blocking out the sun, the external image self. And so too for you, Sagittarius, your inner life needs to take precedence this next month over your image, or over an external answer or solution that you might have reached to before. I also feel like there is a deep, almost spiritual journey that you're going to be going on. There's something that's getting unlocked with you. Something old and ancient within your spirit is going to be stirring. And I do feel like there is this awakening with this card. But I do feel like this card's also telling you that although you might feel like you've been going through the dark and not knowing your way, you are going to find your path. The Eight of Cups is just asking you to look at the situation a little bit deeper. Next, we're going to go into the astrological sign of Capricorn for the month of November. So first card for Capricorn is where it's best for you to place your focus this next month. And we get the Six of Pentacles. And the Six of Pentacles is a card of generosity. It's a card of good karma. And it could indicate that you're being required, Capricorn, to give of yourself in some way. But this is never energy that's wasted. Just as the merchant is giving to the poor on this card, he's holding those scales of karma, which are going to ensure that he's also going to receive blessings in the end. This card for you, Capricorn, is really saying that there is some sort of a blessing that you might be giving to others, but you will be receiving something even more valuable back. This is also a card of receiving help. Angels unaware that appear on your path and open up doorways of opportunity for you, or help you past a challenge. I feel divine help is around you this next month, Capricorn. But I also feel to ensure that divine help continues to find you, you need to be your best self and give the best of yourself in service to those who need it around you. The advice from your inner wisdom, if you're a Capricorn for this next month, is the Ten of Cups. And this is the card of happy endings. You know, the Ten of Cups can indicate that the storm has passed because there's a rainbow on this card. And rainbows only appear after bad weather. And so this could be a time for you, Capricorn, where you're able to celebrate something that you've survived through. But this is also a card of love and gratitude. And, you know, there's a gratitude energy with both of these cards, kind of when I'm looking at them. I almost feel like that gratitude energy is going to be the medicine that's needed this next month. Whether it's a success that you're trying to build in your work or in your personal relationships, being grateful for what you've already acquired or who you already are or who's already there is just going to lead toward more wonderful opportunities. This card is also one of love, just as the Six of Pentacles. And it sounds cliche, but love is all you need. It really is going to be the answer this next month. So I do feel like this is a lovely month for you, Capricorn, to open your heart, to be of service in some way. And finally for you, Capricorn, the last card is potential pitfalls, but also opportunities that may be ahead for you on your path for this next month. And we get the King of Swords, who can be a pitfall or an opportunity card. The King of Swords can be a pitfall card because he's rigid. He is one of the most fixed cards in the tarot. He can represent organizations that are rigid or institutions that you have to navigate through where there isn't a lot of wiggle room. He can represent really strict rules or parameters that you're having to operate within. And so sometimes this card can feel a little stifling. Sometimes this card can indicate that the status quo may get a little stagnant. It might feel like you're unable to grow. Or sometimes this card can indicate over caution with expressing yourself. That's how it could be a pitfall. But it is an opportunity card when it is a problem-solving card or a leadership card. And I feel with this card, there is a sense of authority you're needing to step in, or leadership quality, Capricorn, that can really shift the energy. The King of Swords can be a benevolent king when he uses his power to serve his subjects. And I feel for you, Capricorn, that there's an opportunity with this King of Swords through establishing order or creating rules that are going to benefit all involved. That's going to be the King of Swords energy that really helps you. But I also feel with this King of Swords card that there is a transformation that's trying to happen in your life, symbolized by the butterflies on the King of Swords throne. And yet the King of Swords is a bit afraid of that transformation or change. His butterflies are in stone, encased that way. This is a card that can sometimes tell you you need to be open to change. You need to be open to what might shift. And you might also want to be open to shifting the status quo, especially if it's in the service of helping others or making the world better. I just kind of feel like there is something of leadership or power that you're needing to step into, but it needs to be used for those forces of good this next month. Next, we're going to go into the astrological sign of Aquarius. So if you're an Aquarius or have a lot of Aquarius in your chart, this first card is going to be where it's best for you to place your focus for November. And we get the Nine of Pentacles, which has long been called the wealth card in the tarot. We can see a woman here who's in her wealthy garden. It's growing abundantly. And she's got this falcon in her hand, on her left hand, actually, that she's wearing a glove over. The left hand is the hand of receptivity, what we receive. And the woman is being protective of what she's receiving or allowing in her garden. She's also protecting her hand from the talons of her pet falcon. And falcons are known for ambition and their focus and their ability to hunt. But just now, this woman in the garden is training her falcon. She's got a hood over it. She's restraining its movement. She's not just letting it fly off toward its prey. She's instead restraining or coiling that energy back until the right moment to strike. And also that snail at the hem of her dress can represent slow movement, patience, taking your time for the right moment of opportunity. The Nine of Pentacles is saying it's best for you to focus on the long game, but it's also best for you to focus on nothing but the best. The Nine of Pentacles is the card of the highest possible standards of excellence for yourself. And it could even indicate that you need to look at the garden of your own life and ask yourself if you're tolerating something in that garden that's subpar or that isn't your best life. I also feel success with this card, so this might be a month where it's important for you to focus on success, especially with money, career, or long-term goals. The advice from your inner wisdom, if you're an Aquarius for this next month, is the Death card reversed. And when Death comes up reversed, it can indicate a resistance to change. It can represent a hanging on to an old way of doing things and an avoidance of something that you know is inevitably changing or needs to happen. I feel with the Death card reversed next to the Nine of Pentacles, there is this sense like there's this really successful energy ahead for you. An opportunity is about to arise, but you cannot take full advantage of it if you're hanging on to the past, or if you're just doing the same process of the past and expecting a different result. When the Death card comes up reversed, it also calls to us to pay attention to that sun that rises over the horizon, signifying a new day is about to dawn. This is a card of rebirth and renewal. And it could even indicate that an ending that's happened is going to be the fertilizer, the rich soil of which is going to grow this next important garden of your own life moving forward. But this card just asks you, what am I resistant to changing? That's where the blockage is. And that's what you're going to want to allow to move on. And then finally, the last card is going to be potential pitfalls, but also opportunities for you if you are an Aquarius. And we get an opportunity card with the Two of Cups. And the Two of Cups is a card of partnerships that are meant to be, alliances, relationships, or people that are somehow supportive of you. The Two of Cups is saying that the answer to your challenges before you this next month could come from reaching out. And when I see that Two of Cups next to the Death card reversed, it's almost telling me that the change that you're struggling with can be made so much easier if you seek support. If you ask for help from those you love, it will be offered. Also, the Two of Cups can indicate that you might want to listen more, because communication on the Two of Cups isn't just about speaking with others, but also listening to what they have to say. And so if there is someone with your best interests in their heart who's communicating something to you, either a concern or an area that they're seeing that you could really thrive with, listen to what they're saying. There are wonderful partnerships that are going to be helping you this next month, especially navigating through all those difficult changes with the Death card reversed. And yet I see that Nine of Pentacles, which represents a long-term security as well. I feel like you're on a really great trajectory, but you got to let go of the past. And finally, we're going to go into the astrological sign of Pisces. So if you're a Pisces or have a lot of Pisces in your chart, this first card is going to be where it's best for you to place your focus for November. And we get the Page of Swords, who's kind of on guard in the tarot. He's expecting an attack. He's very nervous that something's going to get him. And yet, he's thwarting his best breakthroughs from actually happening. When the Page of Swords comes up for you, Pisces, this could be a time for you to not be overcautious. It could also be a time where you're being a little too protective over a tender emotion or feeling, or sometimes even might be deflective about something that's a vulnerability in you. And it's like, yeah, I know. I don't have that problem. I already know. That's kind of the energy of the Page of Swords. Or I don't have the problem. You're crazy. That's not me. The Page of Swords will ask you, look at what you're avoiding or look at what you're really afraid of looking at, because that's showing where your breakthrough is. Page of Swords can also indicate that if you can lower the sword, if you can lower your unnecessary defenses, a breakthrough for you is assured. And yet, this is a card also of high intelligence, rationalizing things away. So just watch out for your mind, almost like jumping the gun and convincing you that, no, actually, I'm right. I'm just going to stay in this path. This might be a time to open yourself up to new perspectives. The advice from your inner wisdom this next month, if you're a Pisces, is the Seven of Pentacles. And the Seven of Pentacles is the card of patience. It could indicate that the thing that you're feeling defensive about is still in the process of growing. It could also indicate that there might be a vulnerability around something that you're struggling to be patient with. This could be a person, a situation, a job. Seven of Pentacles just represents those things that aren't quite ready for the full harvest. And Page of Swords can indicate a little bit of a sore spot around that issue. And yet the Seven of Pentacles is saying things are growing in the garden of your life just as they're meant to. Hands off. Take a step back. Let these things grow slowly. I think that there's something wonderful that's about to be born for you in your own life, especially as we go into 2026. Although it isn't the time to make your move yet with these two cards. And the final card for Pisces is going to be potential pitfalls, but also opportunities for this next month of November. And we get an opportunity card with the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands is asking you to leave behind the familiar and to go into the foreign and the exotic, the new way of seeing things. The Knight of Wands is on an adventure in Egypt. He's got the pyramids behind him. This card can indicate foreign places, travel, new exploration, but also foreign perspectives, different points of view, or even something sort of out of left field that provides a breakthrough for you. I feel like the thing that's growing in the garden of your life, it just needs to be something where it's like you set it and you forget it. The bread's baking in the oven. Stop opening the oven door. You're letting all the heat escape. It's not cooking very well that way. You're just needing to wait, because if you even try to eat that bread right now, it's not going to taste very good. The Knight of Wands is encouraging you to look elsewhere for other adventures, for other things that need your focus at this time, but also other perspectives that might help you in that quest to be more patient with what's still growing in your life. The Knight of Wands can also indicate friendships that come from afar, or also information that comes from afar that could be really helpful for you this next month. So be on the lookout for messages that appear, even from people who don't live in the same place as you, that might offer support, advice, or the pathway forward. And that is this month's tarot video for the month of November 2025. I do hope you enjoyed it. Please do like, subscribe, share the video with a friend if you found it useful, because it really does help my channel grow, and it also helps us grow our community. Also, if you pop a comment in the comment box, I love to read how these cards relate to your own lives and what's going on in them. And if you really enjoy my style of reading, you can always schedule a one-on-one tarot session with me at elliotoracle.com. I'd love to read my cards for you and see what's in store for you in your own life this next November and beyond. I also just started offering email readings. So you can send me your question and I'll make a video much like the one that you just watched that is going to pertain to your particular question and answer it specifically. I hope you all have a wonderful month of November, whatever it is that you're doing. And I'm going to see you again here next month and next week and basically every day at elliotoracle.com. So be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you again next time.